Genesis 22, the ultimate test of faith. Let's start our reading together. Sometime later, God tested Abraham. He said to him, "Abraham." "Here I am," he replied. God had already promised Abraham that through his son Isaac, a great nation would be established. But now, God was calling Abraham to something unimaginable, a test of faith that seemed to contradict his promise. Then God said, "Take your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you." Imagine the weight of these words. Abraham had waited decades for Isaac, the son of the promise. And now, God was asking for what seemed impossible. Yet, Abraham obeyed without hesitation. Early the next morning, Abraham got up and loaded his donkey. He took with him 2 of his servants and his son Isaac. Notice how Abraham responds. He doesn't delay. His faith is in action. He trusts that God has a greater plan, even if he doesn't understand it yet. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. He said to his servants, "Stay here with the donkey while I and the boy go over there. We will worship, and then we will come back to you." Pay attention to Abraham's words. "We will come back to you." Abraham believed that even if Isaac were sacrificed, God could raise him back to life. Hebrews 11:19 confirms this. Isaac spoke up and said to his father Abraham, "Father?" "Yes, my son," Abraham replied. "The fire and wood are here," Isaac said, "but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" This is a moment of deep trust and confusion. Isaac was old enough to understand that something was missing, but he trusted his father. Abraham answered, "God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." And the 2 of them went on together. Abraham's response is prophetic. He doesn't know how, but he trusts that God will provide. And indeed, centuries later, God would provide the ultimate lamb, Jesus Christ, for the sins of the world. When they reached the place God had told him about, Abraham built an altar there and arranged the wood on it. He bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Isaac, though young, willingly submits to his father. Just as Jesus, centuries later, would willingly go to the cross. Then he reached out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But the angel of the Lord called out to him from heaven, "Abraham, Abraham." "Here I am," he replied. Just in time, God intervenes. He never intended for Isaac to die. It was a test of Abraham's obedience and faith. "Do not lay a hand on the boy," he said. "Do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son." Abraham had passed the test. His faith was proven. Abraham looked up, and there in a thicket, he saw a ram caught by its horns. He went over and took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. The ram is a powerful symbol. God provided a substitute for Isaac, just as Jesus would later be the substitute for our sins. So Abraham called that place "the Lord will provide," and to this day, it is said, "On the mountain of the Lord it will be provided." This moment points to the future sacrifice of Jesus. God always provides what we need, physically and spiritually. What is God asking us to surrender today? Do we trust that God will provide even when we don't understand his plan? Just like Abraham, are we willing to walk in obedience, knowing that God has something greater prepared for us? Join the journey of the Bible, page by page. Subscribe for more biblical insights.